Hi everyone, welcome to the demonstration on TypeScript type system. In this demo, we are going to talk about creating variables and assigning types to it. We'll be then talking about function declaration and assigning type information to input parameter and return type of the function. Next, we'll be talking about optional and default parameters. We'll talk next about function overloading. And we'll also talk about iterating over a collection of data. So welcome to the first demonstration, and in this particular demonstration we'll create certain variables and we'll assign type to that particular variable. We'll create a variable user name and we'll typecast that particular username to type string. And we'll assign a value, let's say a random name, to this particular variable. Let's save this value. Next, we are going to talk about type integer or a number. So we'll say user age and we'll typecast this particular user age to number and we'll assign some random value 20 to it. So similarly, let's add a boolean value. So we'll create a boolean value is employed and we'll assign a value which is true. We haven't typecasted this value as boolean, so let's just typecast it to boolean. Once we have defined the variable of these three types, what we'll try to do is inside these different variables we'll try to assign value of some different type. So let's say over here we have a username. This username is of type string, so let's go and try to assign a value which is a numeric value 10 to it, and let's see what is the output. So over here in this case we can see a red line before this variable, and what this red line says is, or the error which is coming over here in the console is that the type 10 is not assignable to type string. So we have typecasted this variable to type string and then we are trying to assign a numeric value to it. So as we said, if in a TypeScript you are trying to put down the value that are incompatible, it will give you a compile time error. So actually at this moment of time we are not into the execution phase. It is even prior to that execution phase that we get to know that this username is of type string and we cannot assign this value as 10. Again, we can try similar stuff for user age. So let's say for this particular user age, let's try to provide a user age in string. So as soon as you try to provide a string value 100 to this user age, we'll again get some compile time error, and it says type 100 is not assignable to number. So this 100 has been enclosed with the double quotes which says this type or this value 100 is a string value which cannot be assigned to a type of number. So this way, if we are trying to add any incompatible value to that particular variable, then TypeScript will give us. Similarly, we'll try to assign a non-boolean value to is employed, and I'll put a value, let's say again a numeric value, and let's see what is the output error. We'll see that type 0 is not assignable to a boolean. Is employed was looking for a boolean value, but since we assigned a numeric value to it, therefore it is giving us an error. So now let's try to execute this particular file using TypeScript. So we'll put tsc in order to execute this file, and let's see the output. Again, during the compilation phase itself, it gives us the error which says a type of 10 is not assignable to string. Similarly, type of 100 is not assignable to number, and type 0 is not assignable to a boolean. So this is a compilation step. We never entered into the execution phase, but still we are getting all these errors. So we have a type incompatibility, and hence we have a compile time error stating the same. So this is how you can hard code a particular input value or a parameter to a certain type, and then you can ensure that our code is type strict. So we'll quickly remove all these values. We'll just clear out the console and we'll just open up the terminal again. So next, let's talk about a tuple. Let's say I want a particular value which contains both numeric and string values. So for that we can create a tuple. It can contain a combination of values, so I'll say var my tuple. Let's typecast it to contain first value as number and the second value as string. And let's assign value to this particular tuple. So this tuple expects the first value to be a number, so let's put a number 10 into it, and the second value that it expects is, let's say, some random string. So again we will say random string. So now this way we are able to add variables of distinct type into a same property. So now let's say if we want to add a new value to this particular tuple, we want to add a value boolean to it. I want the first value to be a number, second value to be a string, and the third value to be boolean. So I have to just add that information over here for the tuple, and I have to say the third value should be boolean, and to this particular value I can add a boolean value. This way we are creating a tuple containing values of different type. Let's say instead of this value, numeric value 10, we are putting some string value. So as soon as we put some string value over here, we can see we have an error which says type string is not assignable to number, because in the tuple we defined that this particular value could be number, but we are at the end putting a string value to it. This is not allowed since it has been typecasted into a numeric value. So let's revert it back to a number value, and then we are going to talk about some arrays of string or arrays of number. So similar to a value that has been assigned with a string value, I can have an array which contains multiple string value. So you have to typecast a variable specifying that this particular variable is an array of type strings. So in order to do that, I can say var names, and then I can typecast it to some names. So I can put some name A, comma B, comma C, and we'll just add couple of more. Now we have to typecast this particular variable into an array of type string. So we'll just put a string, and along with the string I'll put an array. So now this particular variable name is an array of strings. Let's say if we go and assign any numeric value to this particular variable, let's say we put some value 1, in that case we'll receive an error. We'll say the type number is not assignable to type string. So we can remove this number and we have this program up and running without any compile time error. So we are working on Visual Studio Code, and Visual Studio Code highlights the compile time error in your program. So right now we do not have any compile time error. Let's go further and let's create an array of numbers. So I'll say var number age. So we'll try to assign some array of numbers. So we'll say 10, 20, 30, 40. We can now typecast this particular variable as an array of numbers. So a number with a square brackets. Now this is an array of number. So if we try to put any string value into this particular value or this particular variable, it will result in an error. So now we are adding a random string, and it says a string is not assignable to type number. So this TypeScript is providing us some type safety. Also, in case you want to specify that that particular variable can be of any type, so we can use the keyword any over here. So let's say let's create a variable sample, and this variable we want to typecast it to any. It means that we can assign a variable of any type to this particular property. So this sample can have any type of property into it or any type of value into it. So now let's create a function and specify the input parameter type and the output result type. So we are going to deal with a function. So we are going to create a function addition. For this particular function, we'll be specifying the input parameter type as well as the output result type. So let's first create a function without any type specification. We have an addition function, and this particular function can take two parameters. One is first and second is second. Inside the function, what we'll do is we'll return the addition of both these parameters. So we can say first plus second. This is the value that we want to return. In order to call this function, we'll do addition. And while calling this particular function, I can send any kind of values to it. So let's say first value which I want to pass is a numeric value, and second value that I want to pass is, let's say, some string value. So I'll say random value. So I'll put a space over here and we'll do console over here. So we'll just console this particular output. Before that, I have to save this value into some variable result. So this is result. And once we have the result, we'll just console.log this particular result value. Let's run this code to see what is the output. So let's run this code in order to see the output. So in order to run this program, we'll go to the debugger and we'll run and debug this program. As soon as this program runs, we can see the output of this particular value, or this particular value of result is one random value. So we have concatenated a numeric value 1 with the string value random string or random value. So the output is one random value. So let's say now I want to put a restriction to my function. I want to say that I want to have a function which can do the addition of only two numerics. So I want to have addition of two numerical number, not some concatenation of a string. So we need to typecast these variables. We need to explicitly tell our compiler that this parameter first and second could be only numeric, and also the result that we'll get out of these numeric addition would again be a number. So we can typecast this first and second by using :number. So we are telling that the first parameter would be a number, as well as the second parameter can accept a value of type number. So once we have this first and the second of type number, we want to return a numeric value out of it. So what you have to do is, after this function closing brackets, you have to put the return type, which is null. Once we typecast this particular function, we can now have an addition function which takes as a parameter two numeric value and returns a numeric value out of it. As soon as we typecasted this particular function, we can see we again got some error. It says an argument of type random value is not assignable to the parameter of type number, which means we are trying to assign a string value to a numeric input. So we were expecting a number, but we got a string. Therefore, there is a compile time error. You get to know that you are going to encounter some error or some problem when you are going to execute this. So even before entering the execution phase, we were able to find out some possible errors that we can have inside a program. So we'll try to execute this program and see the output. Let's run and debug. So over here we can see an error wherein it specifies that we were expecting some number type. So let's quickly change this to number. So we'll say 1, 2, and let's rerun this. And now I'm expecting an output 3 out of it. And over here you can see that the output of this particular program is 3, which is the addition of two numeric numbers. Even if we try to send or return a string value out of this particular function, let's return a string value out of this function, we'll again get some error. This error states that we were trying and we were expecting a numeric value to be returned. So over here we can see this particular random value, which is a string, is not of type number. So this is a probable compile time error, and we can't return a string out of a function that we have stated over here. So again, compile time checks provide a lot of benefits to us. We can use this compile time error checking in order to reduce the bug during the actual execution. Now let's create another function with the name area, in which we'll try to find out an area of a rectangle or a square. So in case we have two parameters which gets input inside a particular function, we'll expect that particular case as a case for a rectangle. In case we have a single input value, we'll just expect that particular value to be a value for a square. So now let's create a function area, and this particular function will take two inputs, length and breadth. So I'll create this function area. So these are the two input to this particular function, and what we'll return out of this function is a multiplication of both length and the breadth. Next, we have to typecast these values to the corresponding type. So I'll say this length and breadth is of type number. So we'll say number, and this breadth is also of type number. And the return type from this particular function is again a number. So we'll just put the return type as number. So let's invoke this area function with two parameters 10 and 20. What I expect out of this execution is a value 200. So now let's save this value into some variable result. So I'll create a variable result. Since we know that we will be expecting a numeric value, I can also typecast this particular variable as number. I'll just type number, and we'll typecast it to number, and we'll receive the value of area wherein we are passing 10 and 20, and I expect this value in console. So I'll just put console.log and result. So let's try to execute this. I'll just press run and debug. Let's see for the console output over here, and we get the value 200. What happens if I remove one of the input parameter that we have? So let's remove this parameter and let's try to see what is a compile time error. It says it expected 2 arguments but got 1. Because in this particular function we had specified 2 input arguments and we are passing only 1 argument, this is throwing us some compile time error saying that it expected the second parameter as well. But since we are not passing the second parameter, we have this compile time error. So how can we get rid of this particular compile time error? One option is to send 2 parameters always. So let's say even if you are sending 3 parameters, it will again complain back. It will say, I just expected 2 parameters but got 3. Another option is to use a default value. So let's say I want to put down the default value of breadth as 20. So what I can do is I can put this value as 20. In case I pass both the values to this area function, it will take those values. So let's pass 10 and 30. We should expect the output as 300. If we are not passing any one of the values, so let's say we are not passing the second parameter, it will take the default value of that parameter as 20. So let's now debug and run this function and see what's the output. We'll see the output of this function will come out to be 200, wherein 20 was taken as a default value for the breadth and the result came out to be 20 into 10. So passing default value was a new addition to ES6, and that particular ES6 feature is also available in TypeScript. So we can add another parameter over here. So we can say length, breadth and height. I can change this particular function to not area, but yeah, we can just mark this function as volume. I can put volume, and then we are doing length into breadth into height. What we have to do is either pass all these 3 parameters or you have to provide some default parameters to it. So I'm providing a default parameter of 30 to it. Now this particular volume function when invoked should give us the value 10 into 20 into 30. So the output should be 6000. Let's just invoke this, go back to the debugger console, and we'll see an output of 6000. So a default value of breadth and height was taken in this particular case. Let's also pass a volume. So along with volume, I'll pass a value of breadth. So in case we are passing the breadth value, the value will come out to be 1, and then the output would be different. Let's just execute this and see for the output. The output should be 300. So now only the default value of height was taken, rest all the values were taken from this function invocation. So these default parameters adds a lot of benefit to our program, to our TypeScript as well as a JavaScript program. Next, let's see what are optional parameters. So now let's create a small function which is optional parameters. So the function name is optional parameters. I'm expecting different input parameters. Let's say first and second. So what I do with this particular first and second variable is I return the addition of both these variables. Again, we'll do first plus second, and we'll just get the output. We'll just invoke this function and get the output. So let's invoke this function optional parameter and pass some value 1, 2. You can see when we are passing 2 parameters, there is no error, but as soon as I put only 1 parameter over here, we get an error which says we expected 2 parameters but got 1. In this case, what we can do is we can mark this particular second variable as optional. So over here you can see we haven't typecasted these variables. So I can put this as number and the second one as number as well. And the output of both these additions would be number itself. Then in order to make this program run, I'll make the second parameter as optional. And in order to mark a parameter as optional, you have to append a question mark after that particular parameter. So you can see as soon as I placed a question mark over here, this error was gone. So now it is not expecting, it is expecting that the second parameter is optional. In case the user is not sending any value to the second parameter, the value will be taken as undefined. So let's see, let's put a debugger over here and see what is the output. Now let me execute this. The debugger will run and it will stop us on line 2. We can see the value of first variable is the parameter that we passed 1, and the value of second would be undefined. So we are trying to return an addition of 1 and undefined. So this is how we can mark a particular parameter as optional. Marking that particular value as optional will assign a undefined value to it, and our program won't be throwing any compile time error in case you are not sending appropriate number of input parameters. So next we are going to talk about iteration in TypeScript. So there are two ways in JavaScript or TypeScript to iterate through a list of values. We can use either for off loop or we can use for in loop. Both these loops are used in a different manner, and we will see what is the output of both these loops in action. So let's create a variable. I'll say a variable of age array. Let's typecast this particular variable as an array of type number and then assign some value to it. So we'll assign an array to it containing certain ages. And now we want to iterate through this particular array and find out each value inside this array. So we'll use a for off loop and then we'll use for in loop. So the first one that we are going to talk about is for off loop. So I'll put for let value of age array. Using this for off, I can iterate through the list of values that we have. So I can do console.log and each value that we have inside this particular array. So let's save this and run this program. We'll come to debugger console and run this particular program. Once this program runs, we can see the value 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 displayed over here. So let's change these values a bit. We can change these values as 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So let's just rerun this. And the output that we have over here is the values 10 to 50. So right now we have iterated over a list of array using a for off operator. Now next we are going to use for in operator, and we are trying to see what are the values that we get for this for in operator. So I can replace for off with for in. I can just save this program and rerun this program. Once this program is executed, we can see that this particular iteration gives us the list of indexes. So every time it iterated, it gave me the index of current iteration. So the value came out during this iteration is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have a fifth value because the index starts from 0. So in order to get the exact value, what I can do is I can use this index variable to get the value, and I can say age array and get me the value at each iteration for index. For index we have specified a value property. So let's just run this again and see for the output. So now in the debugger console we can see we are again getting back the value 10 to 50. So in order to summarize, if you are working with the array of numbers and if you are using a for off loop, this for off loop will give you the list of values. So during each iteration a value will be given as a output. But if you are using a for in loop, in that particular case the index of that particular iteration will be presented to you. So in that case, let value of age array, in this the value will represent the index during this iteration. The indexes starts from 0, so we had a value 0 to 5. Then we change the program to use this index in order to get the value out of this array. So we just use console.log age array with the index specified inside a square brackets. So as the last part of this particular demonstration, I'm going to show you what is function overloading. We'll create the same function addition and we'll specify to our compiler that this particular addition function can work with either a string values or with the number value. So we are going to present the different version of this particular addition function, wherein the compiler would get to know that when we are calling an addition function, we can send either 2 string values or 2 number value in order to execute this addition function. So let's quickly create this overloaded function. We'll create function addition. Over here, initially we'll state down all the versions that can be made feasible. So we'll say one of the version will take 2 parameter first and second. This first variable that we have can be of type string. The second parameter that you have can also be of type string. Next, we are going to specify the second version of this particular addition function, wherein we can have two variables of type number. So I can have again a parameter first of type number and the second of type number as well. So these are the two variants of this particular addition function that we want to create. Next, what we'll do is we'll start implementing the actual code. So we'll say actually we have a function called addition. We'll specify that it takes two parameters, first of type any and second of type any. And then what we have to do inside the code is it will return us a value first plus second. So we'll write first plus second over here. We haven't specified the output type for these functions, so we can say the first function that we had, it will return a value of type string, and the second function that we had, the overloaded function that we had, can return a value of type number. So the addition of string values would be a string value and addition of a numeric value could be a numeric value. So these two are the versions of this addition function that we can use. What do we mean by that? Let's do one thing. Let's create a variable result. And this particular result variable will store the value of addition. So in the first variation, we can send some string value. So I can say hello, and I can pass second parameter as word. I'll then console log this value. So I'll say console.log this result. I'll just copy these two lines, and now I want an addition of two numbers. So we'll say 1, 2. This variable result numeric will save the value of some numeric addition. So let's just copy and paste it over here, and let's execute this code. Out of the first execution, I expect hello world, and out of the second execution, I expect an output of 3. Let's go to run and debug and just execute this. We'll get the output hello world and 3. So the two variation of this addition function takes either the string values or the numeric value. Let's try to change this. I'll try to call some third version of it, one containing a numeric value and other containing a string value. So I want to have an addition of two variables, which is 1 and hello world. So once you try to execute this, you will again receive an error which says overloading is not permitted over here. There are only two type of overloads which are present, either both parameter of type string or both parameter of type number. In case you want to add another overloaded function which can take the first parameter as number and second parameter as string, you have to create another overloaded version, and over here you'll say that the second parameter that you have can be of type string. So now you are creating the third version of overloaded function, wherein it can take either two string values, two numeric, and one numeric and the second parameter as string. So let's save and get the result. So we'll say result other. We'll try to just copy paste it over here and see the output. So let's see whether it executes for all the three versions or not. Let's run this. We'll see for the output, the first one gives us hello world, the second one gives us a numeric value 3, and the third one is a concatenation of a string and a numeric value. Let's say if we try to reverse down this particular permutation combination, so we can have result other data, and I want to put first value as a string value and the second value as numeric value. We'll again receive an error. It says I only had the three version of overloaded function. One had two strings, other had number and number, the third one had first parameter as number and second parameter as string. So again over here we have to create the fourth overloaded version, wherein we'll specify that the first parameter can be of type string and the second parameter can be of type number. As soon as we do this, we'll get the output. This particular call is now a valid call. We don't have a compile time error, and we have four versions of a same function. So let's just quickly execute this and see for the result. in this case we are getting hello world, a value 3, 1 hello, 1 concatenated with hello again. So in this case we forgot to change this particular console log message, so I can just replace it with result other data. So now we'll get all the 4 versions of that particular function. Let's come to debug window. So all the permutation and combination of strings and number is working in this particular scenario, and hence we have certain overloaded function representing different type of input parameter but having the same function implementation. So this is called overloading in TypeScript. Thanks for watching this demonstration.